Okay, so on this video I'm going to show you how to solve using the quadratic formula when we have irrational answers and we want to leave it in simplest form, which means we're not going to use decimals. So our first question says w squared minus 7w plus 4 equals 0. First thing you need to make sure your quadratic equation is in standard form, which just means ax squared goes first, then bx, then c, and it all equals 0, which our first one does. So the first thing I'm just going to do is identify my a, which is 1, my b, which is negative 7, and my c, which is 4. There's nothing here, which means there's an invisible 1 right there, making my a be 1. Okay, so now I'm just going to start plugging in. X equals negative b, which is negative 7, plus or minus the square root, negative 7 squared, minus 4 times a times c, all over 2 times my a of 1. Alright, so I'm going to clean it up first. A negative 7 is a positive 7, plus or minus the square root. And I'm going to clean up the 2 times 1 to just get me 2. Alright, I'm going to plug all this into my calculator. You can also do it by hand if you don't have a calculator near you. So negative 7 squared minus 4 times 1 times 4. Negative 7 squared is 49. Minus 4 times 1 is 4, times 4 is 16. 49 minus 16 is 33. So it would be the square root of 33. If you do have your calculator, you would do negative 7 squared, make sure your negative 7's in the parentheses, minus 4 times 1 times 4, which gets you that 33. Double check to make sure 33 is not a perfect square, and it's not. So I can stop right there. DeltaMath will accept this as your final answer, and I am attaching a video that will also show you how to plug in that as your answer, so please watch the video. Okay, so please watch the DeltaMath video on plugging in. Alright, let's try another one together. I'm going to rewrite the formula right here. First thing to see if it's in standard form. It is not. It's not equal to 0, so I need to subtract that 3 over. Since it's a positive 3, I need to do the opposite. The like term to 3 is 10, so I'm going to subtract that 3 from there, leaving 5w squared minus 15w plus 7 equals 0. Now I can identify my a as 5, my b as negative 15, and my c as 7. I'm going to start plugging in. X equals a negative 15, plus or minus the square root of negative 15 squared, minus 4 times my a of 5 times my c of 7. I'm going to put that all over 2 times my a of 5. I'm going to clean everything up first before I do anything else. A negative 15 is a positive 15, plus or minus the square root. 2 times 5 is 10. I'm going to plug this all into my calculator. Negative 15 squared minus 4 times 5 times 7 is 85. So I'm plugging in 85 underneath that square root. Let's just check to see if the square root of 85 is a perfect square. It's not. So this will be my final answer. These answers just mean one answer would be 15 plus the square root of 85 all over 10, and 15 minus the square root of 85 all over 10. But DeltaMath will accept it looking just like this. All right, your last example. Again, I'm going to write the quadratic equation right here. And we are going to solve. It is not set equal to 0, so I need to move this negative 2a squared to the other side. So I'm going to add 2a squared. And its like term is this other 2a squared. So that's going to be 0. 2a squared plus 2a squared is 4a squared. So that is the quadratic equation I will work with. My a is 4, my b is 9, and my c is 3. I'm going to plug them all in to the quadratic equation. Negative 9 plus or minus the square root of 9 squared minus 4 times my a of 4 times my c of 3. All over 2 times a. Clean it up. That would just be negative 9 plus or minus the square root. 2 times 4 is 8. Let's clean up the inside. This one's a little easier to do by hand, so I'm just going to throw it right here. 9 squared is 81. Order of operations, negative 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. Times 3 is 48, so negative 48. 81 minus 48 is 33. Let's just double check my math. Yes, 33. 33 is not a perfect square, so we can just leave our answer like this. If you can't do it by hand and you want to just use your calculator, you need to do 9 squared minus 4 times 3, and you get 33. Again, watch the video about how to plug it into Delta Math so you can get your answers correct.